She both won the Berkeley Center for the Study of Value Prize in Personal Integrity and reached the final round of the New Crop essay competition. She has been a URAP apprentice, and she has been a leader of the Undergraduate Philosophy Forum, which hosts events throughout the year and publishes the journal Harvest Moon. She will be applying to graduate school in philosophy this fall. Please join me in welcoming Arden to the podium.
Hello, Arden.
Thank you so much. First of all, I really want to say how grateful I am to be here right now and to have been here studying philosophy for the past 4 years. Sometimes I actually have to stop and think about how lucky I am. Philosophy, as we well know, is not the most practically oriented field. And so it is a privilege to spend our time in college asking questions not because some corporation wants to see them answered, but because they demand inquiry all by themselves. I never want to forget that. We often ask, what is philosophy, or what good is it? And while these are not empty questions, I do not want to wrestle with them here. Something has happened to us as students, and I want to talk about that. I want to talk about the experience, or my experience, of studying philosophy here at Cal. At that very grown-up feeling age of 18 when I started Berkeley, I had never experienced the merciless discipline of thought philosophy subjects you to. That didn't stop me, of course, from being convinced I had all kinds of metaphysical insights. For instance, under all this pretense of meaning and value, I was convinced there was a depressingly simple reality, just atoms in the void. And all this fluff, this embarrassing fanfare of life, an illusion we try in vain to wish into existence. Of course, everyone comes to philosophy differently, with different dogmas ingrained. Some undoubtedly came here with a sunnier worldview than mine. But we are all changed by our study in ways I believe transcend these differences, and which are born of the nature of a philosophical education. Part of this education is, as the old saying goes, a matter of being taught how to think in a particular way. Unlampshaded assumptions are intolerable, radical questions taken seriously, and the standards of argument raised so dramatically that as students, we often scramble to scale their heights. And I think it really is unique, this argumentative style, which gets inside your head, banishing or reorganizing your previously unruly thoughts until the way you process the world is changed for good. The hope, I suppose, is that this more rigorous way of thinking will enable us to better find the truth. Whether that's really what's happened to us, we may now begin to find out. At the same time, we are introduced to a canon of great debates, with thinkers populating the landscape, defending their positions, waging their wars. We get to know these characters and their arguments, and in so doing, we become gripped by questions which at least I just didn't think to be concerned with before, about things so mundane only philosophers would worry about them. How do words refer to objects? If I accept A, and I accept if A then B, why do I have to accept B? And then we are all amazed at how hard these questions are. This may be the nature of confronting challenges to our most basic practices. The more fundamental they are, the harder it seems it is to defend them without resorting to that adolescent stance of just insisting. It just is that way because it is. Finding ways to avoid this response is almost as hard as accepting it when there really is nothing else to say. And it's overwhelming. Of course, there's an excitement to it, hunting down enthymemes, making connections. There's that moment we all experience when our eyes widen, when a radically different possibility suddenly seems, well, possible. It shakes you. Or when something you were sure was true begins to seem like a self-justifying farce. Or worse, incomprehensible. I am often driven in this moment to squeeze my eyes shut, to get up, to walk away for at least a little while. Because although revelation is exhilarating, it is frightening too. An entire world of possibilities can open up, demand to be thought of, or be closed off. leaving you absolutely stranded. This is the point when I usually go get a snack. Perhaps this is why we tend to separate our academic philosophical lives from what we will sometimes, in one of those deprecating digs to our discipline, call our real lives. It is as if we cannot live with the way we think in the classroom or on the page because of its potential to throw us into such a radically unsure place, to unsettle us, even to immobilize us. We think we need to be myopic just to make it through the day. But still, I think we should resist this divide and bring philosophy home, even when it threatens to shake us. Sometimes this can even give us hope. All that nihilistic certainty I had at 18 has since been undermined by philosophical questioning. I was cocky then, but I was not happy with my knowledge that the world was a meaningless place. Philosophy promised to unmask my pretensions, and it has. It has given me reasons, if there are such things as reasons, to doubt my sureness. In this way, we learn from philosophy by being made a fool in front of it. The hope is that it can also re-educate us. That's the real challenge, of course, the dreaded positive project. As we've discovered, it is much easier to poke holes in theories than to articulate and defend a picture of the way things really are. And so far, I am left with that unsettling feeling of not yet having found such a picture, and some doubt as to if I ever will. But this unsettled feeling, I suspect, is a feature of our discipline, not a bug. Of course, if we go on to do more philosophy, and even more so if we don't, we may become more sure about what we think is so. Perhaps because we think we can defend our beliefs with greater rigor. Perhaps because we no longer choose to try. But I fear that crystallization. I believe we should never quite leave the unsettled feeling behind, which, at least for me, has been so central. Being unsettled, being unsure, and disturbed by this unsureness is a way of starting philosophy, maybe the only way. For me, it is both what it feels like to do philosophy and what makes the radical and critical thought it demands possible. It drives inquiry, and I believe it makes us better. And so, if we can find a way to live with our eyes wide open in the face of this disquiet, we may be enabled, even compelled, to exchange those banal comforts of certainty for the exhilarating, the unnerving, and perhaps even the meaningful search for an unknown truth. Thank you.